Us right now is Oklahoma Congressman Markwayne Mullin. He is a member of the Energy and Commerce and Intelligence Committees. He's also running for the Senate in Oklahoma. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here this morning.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, Maria.
So you say that the president should cancel his flight to Saudi Arabia right now, reroute to Oklahoma, and meet with energy producers there instead.
Absolutely. He's flying all the way to Saudi Arabia, and we know it's a joke to think he's not going to ask him to produce more oil. And if he wants to solve the energy crisis, if he wants to really combat inflation, then come to Oklahoma and Oklahoma itself and add Texas into it. We can end this energy crisis we find ourselves in. If you want to talk about inflation, I mean, inflation when he came into office was at 1.4%. It's at 8.6%. If he wants to combat that, then let's become energy independent like underneath the Trump policies we had. It's absurd what he's doing right now. He knows how important, Maria, energy is. He knows that. He knows that we can't be completely separate from fossil fuels, and so he's going to an adversary in OPEC and asking the cartels to increase energy production. That is not American first agenda. That's America last agenda.
Well, you're right about the CPI. It's going to be out in about an hour, and we are expecting a gain of 8.8% year over year. Then we got the producer price index out tomorrow. We're expecting a gain of 10.7% there, Congressman. And look, you say inflation is the issue and Biden needs to pivot, but he's not doing that. And no. Is somebody else telling him, the progressive wing of the party, ready to pounce on him if, in fact, he strays at all from the climate change agenda?
Absolutely. Their own party is split, and he knows that, and he doesn't know where to go. But he's also a weak leader, so he can't make a decision himself. A strong leader is going to do what's best for this country. He's not leading this country. He's trying to lead his party, and he's not even doing a good job at that. You know, everybody knows with high energy costs, you're going to have inflation that's going to follow. That is just simple economics. And what he is doing here is he's leading by a feeling rather than leading by the front. And what I mean by that is he knows he's going to lose, so he's trying to play to the emotional side of things by trying to lean on this environmentalist movement, knowing that it's hurting the economy, and then he wants to blame everything on Putin. He wants to say that inflation is high, gas prices are high, energy prices are high, food prices are high because of Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Right. And we all know that inflation was already at 6% and climbing before Putin invaded Ukraine. So it's absolutely absurd what he's doing. This is just an absolute weak leader, and that's, as I go back, we need to put President Trump's America First agenda back in place. Yeah, well, we know. We've got the inflation timeline. We know that inflation was at 1.4% when Joe Biden walked into the Oval Office. Here's James Freeman.
Thanks, Congressman. If the president decided today that he wanted to encourage American energy production versus production in Saudi Arabia, Russia, Venezuela, wherever, what would be at the top of the to-do list? Is it leases? Is it permitting? Is it pipelines? What is the number one thing he could do to encourage production?
Well, I think the first thing is he's got to let us have full production with what we have, and we got to be able to transport oil and natural gas and petroleum from point A to point B. That means that our pipelines need to be able to run at full capacity. He shut down the capacity level of a lot of our pipelines that have passed safety measures all the way, and he's put a timeline on them. Say they're 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. They got to reduce the flow rather than be able to completely bring the capacity level back into place. That creates a log jam and creates companies having to compete for space to be able to transport it. And what can't get in a pipeline, they have to pay absorbent prices on railroad or on trucks. So first of all, we need to be able to get our product to market, and then he needs to speed up the lease process. He's slow walking the lease process, and we have enough oil and natural gas in Oklahoma to last hundreds of years, and we're ready to go to work, but we can't, and because we've got this president that doesn't believe in fossil fuels. And I want to say this too: if we want to bring in global stability, then we need to bring in U.S. energy independent, because U.S. energy independent brings on global stabilization, because people want to do business with the United States, not cartels like the OPEC or a dictator like Russia and Putin.
Yeah, it's a great point. Congressman, thanks very much for being here.
Maria, thank you for having me on.
All right, Markwayne Mullin.